disco dancing.
And the next verse.
I'm a model. You know what I mean.
And you
And I
do
do
my little turn on
the
Chipper Chap
tap on.
Chat.
On Chipper Chap Chat.
What up, Chipper Chaps? This is Chipper Chap Chat episode 105. And
105. 105.
I
Is
am
it lagging
FooRay.
or is it not?
I am FooRay.
I'm Chamba.
We're going to talk about Star Wars. A war in the stars.
Where's of the stars?
A war in the stars. I got blipped.
Ding.
Let me unblip.
Oh, no.
Unblippify myself.
Should I? Yeah, I should probably silence thine phone.
Alright. Well, man, the time has come. We are going to talk about some Star Wars.
You watched it Saturday, correct?
I watched it
Friday
evening.
I did the midnight screening on I guess Thursday morning here.
You've actually seen it a couple times now, right?
I saw it twice already. I saw it again the next day. Oh, the next morning. So, a couple hours after that first screening, I watched it again.
Well, you know, man. Yeah. Tell me of your experience. Was it the Star Wars to end all Star Wars?
It was a sequel that I was looking forward to. Obviously, I did re-listen to the Star Wars episode that we did briefly. I think it was maybe like last week I re-listened to it.
Yeah.
And we all seemed to enjoy it. We had like things that we wanted to see come from this film.
Yeah.
You know? As a sequel, I got a sequel that I didn't know what to expect. Not knowing what to expect is a good thing. It's fine. But I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
This film is definitely, though, it's polarizing audiences.
Well, I mean, the last one was as well.
Yeah, this one, it seems more so. Either way, I came out enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I generally thought it was a movie. I guess luckily we get to hit on both sides of it because I did not enjoy it a lot, and I felt led on by the first movie, and I felt like the director was like, I don't know if he was told to abandon everything that was set up in the first movie, or if he was just like, I don't like any of that stuff. You know, or if it was legitimately like a corporate decision because of everybody going, it was just a copy of the first one, so now we've got anything that they thought was gonna happen, we'll do the opposite of that, and then that's how we'll get them this time.
That's how a lot of the reactions that I'm seeing for those who actually didn't enjoy it.
Right.
They were like, "This is not what I wanted, so it's bad."
No, because that's not how I feel about it. It's not not what I wanted situation. I mean, we'll have to get to where we can talk about spoilery stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much of a non-spoiler review thing you wanted to include.
It's hard to do a not like if you want a decent non-spoilery I guess point. There's a couple online. Like
you can find a ton of these things online if you want a non-spoiler review.
Yeah.
But if you're talking to us right now, let's assume you want to know the deets.
Right. You've hopefully, you know, watching this now, you basically just want said our opinion on it because we haven't actually said anything online. Right. Whether or not we even enjoyed it or not.
No. Which made me very curious to have this conversation because we've not talked about it at all.
Absolutely. But I would recommend it because I want to get to that now because I figured we'd get that out of the way.
If you had to give it a score right now, what would you give it?
I give it an 8.
An 8 out of 10 Chipper Chaps?
Yeah. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I think I give it like a 4.5.
Yeah, that's good. But see, that's really good because and I think the beauty of just obviously all the reviews that we do in general is like neither of us are. That's bound to happen. Like I love Speed Racer, you hate it.
I don't think I've ever seen it fully.
Oh well, okay. I love that movie, but it's gonna happen and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good.
You were fond of the original Speed Racer cartoon, right?
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I never give a shit about the original Speed Racer, so I didn't have the same investment.
But that's all, and that's fine. But yeah, no, I liked it. So we should get into spoilers.
Yeah. So, tell me what it is.
If you're watching this, let us what you know. I liked how we got actual growth from characters. I know people will probably say it's not the growth that I wanted, or it's not what we're after. What growth
did we get?
We got more. All right, at the start, Poe. Right, we got more of Poe. We got more of fucking Finn. We got more of Rey, obviously.
We got more of them, but did we get
more of everything?
Did we get growth from them? Because that was the word.
Yeah, absolutely. Poe grew because in the end, like at the start of it, he's definitely he didn't really play by the rules. He kind of did things his own way.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that. In the end, he's realizing that it's for the greater good, and he didn't even see that in how Holdo, is that her name? The lady with the pink hair.
Jurassic Park. I don't know.
Jurassic Park lady. Anyway.
Yeah.
He didn't really want to listen to her.
Has she been in any other movies in between Jurassic Park and this? Because I swear I've not seen her in shit.
I know she's an actress.
For sure.
Yeah, she does films probably.
Probably.
I don't know. I'm assuming. I mean, I know she was a model prior to being in Jurassic Park.
I feel like they fucked up not having her in Thor Ragnarok because she was the only one missing.
Oh yeah, damn! That would have been that would have been in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, she should have been like playing. She should have been playing Thor's mom in the like play thing.
Original. Oh, that would have been great. Also, what's cool? Okay, random Thor thing.
Right.
Okay, that's to say that film would have been not only Jurassic Park reunion, but also a Tango and Cash reunion.
Right. But that was Guardians. Guardians got taken.
Right, Guardians would have been that. I'm like, Marvel's just reuniting everybody.
Yeah, all these '90s movies.
Who else did they reunite? Anyway, yeah, he showed growth in his throughout the film because in the end he understood the purpose. It's not about being doing everything straight to the gun and just actually thinking about the bigger picture. That was his, anyways.
I just don't feel like he did anything to. I mean, he saw someone else do it.
Yeah.
But the only decisions he made in this movie were it was to cost people their lives.
At the start, he wouldn't even acknowledge doing that, basically. He wouldn't. He would cut it right up.
I don't know, man. I feel like largely we got left in the same exact spot we were already in by the end of this movie, like
which is.
All this build up of like Rey and Kylo Ren are gonna come together and have this like maybe I'll switch sides, maybe you'll switch sides, but then once we got to that moment there, the resolution of that scene. First of all, you're in this conversation now. We're talking spoilers. They kill Snoke.
Put spoilers. We probably shouldn't.
They kill.
We said it's gonna be spoiler.
They kill Snoke. In he had like he hit somebody, he uppercut I think Kylo Ren with Force lightning or whatever, and then he smacked Rey with her lightsaber when she was trying to take it from it or whatever. But that was the entirety of that character.
Yeah,
I feel as though all the decisions that were made just showed that when they made the first one, they had literally no idea what their plan was. Because
for Snoke?
Yeah, for Snoke and for Rey.
But the thing is, like, with Snoke anyway, I know when walking out at the cinema, people like Snoke was garbage. You hear a lot of people's like Snoke was garbage. It's like they built him up, and I was like, they didn't. We built him up. He was just essentially the stepping stone for Kylo.
We built him up because of what they gave us, not just randomly we decide Snoke is that.
He was the supreme leader, right? So by that assumption, we should be like, oh, he's all powerful and whatnot. And he did show great power, but he also underestimated Kylo at that point. He thought that he basically knew what he was doing this whole time
because he was doing two things at once. But I'm still like, he can see your intention. I'm turning this thing, and he's going to kill his ultimate enemy. But exactly. I also can't see with my eyeballs that you're doing two things with your hands or whatever. And he was supposed to be more powerful. He was supposed to be more powerful. Andy Serkis said Snoke is more powerful than the Emperor and Darth Vader combined.
He could just it's hard, like. That's obviously, I understand coming from there where
how did he even start the First Order? Why does his evil even have stormtroopers? If he's not connected to the Emperor or any of that shit, why does he even have stormtroopers?
Why did he start that, right? We didn't know why or how Sidious started it until the prequels.
Which is totally fine.
So
but I'm saying,
would you want the answers for this now?
I'm not saying I needed those answers. Yeah. I'm saying if you don't supply those answers, then I want to see that character do something. Because he's either got to do something in the present, or you got to show why he mattered in the past. Because to me, he did neither thing.
He didn't he showed his power.
No, how?
He was the
he showed in this movie that he was stronger than Vader and the Emperor.
He linked those two their minds together.
Oh, he did a thing we've never seen before.
But see, like you're saying that it's not valid. That's not valid enough.
That's the ultimate double their power, as he can make two people dream at each other.
To assume that, like, again, the Force is like everyone. From what I'm aware of, anyway, the Force is different for everybody. It is different for everybody.
All right.
So who's to say that what he can do, anybody else can do?
But if you had to judge on paper between what you've seen Vader, that's what I'm saying, on what you've seen Vader and the Emperor do, that what we saw Snoke do of just making them dream at each other was the twice the power combined of those two characters.
I didn't know, like. Where did you hear that he's twice as powerful? Because
Andy Serkis said that in the interview.
I didn't hear that in the movie, though.
Okay, fine. Granted.
But see, that's the thing.
Fine. If you judge it just based on what we've seen, and we know he was the legit boss, he's up in the thing, and he's supposed to already have Kylo Ren in a position of dominance or whatever. He's over him. If he was that easily dispatched, why wouldn't Kylo Ren have killed him forever ago? He didn't change at all as a character. He heard this time him say Kylo Ren is bullshit. I've known he was bullshit and weak, but he's been saying that since the other movie. So why didn't he kill him before? Just because he wanted to impress the girl who'd now seen him with his weird meat box of a body?
Essentially, though, he overpowered, like, his power over Kylo wasn't, I mean, sure, it was possibly physical, but obviously we saw Kylo kill him. It was a mental thing. He overpowered him mentally. He made him feel weak. Because essentially, like, when you think about it, that's what Sidious did with Vader. How did Vader kill Sidious? Bloody just threw him off a thing.
Fucking body slammed his old bitch ass. But Insidious showed that he had the fucking crazy lightning and shit. Vader didn't have that.
The equivalent here was when remember when Snoke was the giant face talking to Hux.
Right.
He wasn't in the same ship, and he's moving him around.
For sure.
So,
but don't you think if he's that legit, if he's that legit, he was dispatched too easily?
Sure. I mean, it might have been a movie. For all I know, it might have been too soon for him to be dispatched. But in order for them to move this story along, where Kylo has to be who he is at the end of the film, they had to do it.
I don't know. The had to me is just, it's too strong of a word.
I'm sure there's other, like, there's possibly many ways.
Also, what a waste of Andy Serkis. Just what a waste of him in general. And why did you even have to do this character as a CG character?
It really, like seeing him and then,
especially because he looked way more. he looked way more human in this one than he did in the first movie. Like, I don't
His
even
head
remember
was
him
way
having.
more.
I don't remember him even having eyebrows in the first fucking movie.
Yeah, because his head on the first one
Right.
was like way more like it's almost like I'm gonna tear this part here and shift it
Right.
up
Right.
here, and have my face kind of.
And speaking of that scene, as hype as like I was for like, oh shit, they're about to fight all these red ninjas or whatever.
The guards portraying guards.
Yeah, I just was not at all impressed by that fight scene. Like, I liked the idea of it, of them teaming up, but the actual like choreography and framing of it, to me, I was just like, I don't think that this is very tight.
It's definitely not like the prequel choreography, which
for sure they already demonstrated we're not going to get that.
We don't need that, but it also like there's shots where I was like, that's not very good.
I just didn't feel like it was filmed very well.
Yeah.
The choreography might have even been fine. I just didn't think it was filmed very well.
Possibly the timing of the film even, or the placement of the camera in certain shots. I'm just like, that would have been better had it not been showing this exact moment, maybe from a different angle or something.
Also,
but I had fun.
They should have had a moment where just a montage of Luke training her how to use the lightsaber before that scene, because in moments before they just got done being like, and Rey beat you and she's never even touched a lightsaber, and then you go, okay, maybe that was like a fluke situation, she used the Force a little bit in that fight, yada yada. But then in this fight, she is fully a ninja. She's like fighting multiple guards that are all legit. And they're both just like smoking them up, and they've already demonstrated, one, she's randomly dope, sure, but she was also supposed to be randomly so dope that she's better than Kylo Ren, and both of them are just mobbing these guys like they're nothing. I just like, what is the point of these guards? Why are they legit if they can't handle either?
To be honest, I don't like the god thing. To me, that was the same deal as the Imperial guards from back in the day. I was like, what makes them actually better than like regular troopers, other than they've got different?
These ones at least like fought, so that puts them above the old Imperial guards.
For sure, the old Imperial guards, they just looked cool because they were red and had different armor. These ones, I'm like, oh, you're actually fiting these guys,
and they have like unique weapons or whatever.
Fight, you're putting up a decent fight, albeit you still did lose. I know people were saying, are those the Knights of Ren? And I'm like, probably not, because I'm assuming if the Knights of Ren were also students of Luke that Kylo took with him, they'd also be Force users.
Right, and exactly.
Those guys showed no sign of Force users.
Exactly. We're never going to get any Knights of Ren.
That might have just been a bloody sentence he
said.
But
at the same time, they could do that in the next one.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
we can actually get
that could be the outcome of Rey putting together a Jedi team and Kylo putting together a bad guy team. I don't know where he's going to assemble these people, but if they're like rebuilding new shit, then maybe Knights of Ren is the replacement for the Sith or whatever. The replacement
of the Sith, possibly, because his goal in the end was like, I just want to destroy everything.
Right.
I don't want.
But all those dudes were rocking the helmets, and he seems to not like the helmet anymore. But we'll see how. Well,
it's funny how the helmet was his idea.
Right.
It wasn't like, that's why Snoke is like, you came here one day,
take that shit off.
With the helmet, take it off. I can't even hear you.
Even though he does constantly be like, "Oh, but you were gonna be the new Vader." It was like, well,
Well,
decide whose idea this was.
He basically milked him to the point where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep massaging you to be this awesome, but I'm gonna keep hitting you down so that you don't.
Can we get to the Luke part? Because this is the part that makes me the most mad. Or we can talk about the Rey thing first, because also that's the same vein as the Snoke thing. I'm like, okay, one, I didn't need her to be a Kenobi. I didn't need her to be a Skywalker, any of that shit. But to dismissively just be like, her parents were trash people, they didn't want her anymore, then fine, but just have that be the case the whole time. Don't set up a mystery about her parents in the last movie and then be like, oh, but we set that up for no reason. It was just to make you invest in her.
Absolutely, though.
But imagine if that is how they played out any character, that it has a mysterious past. If they're just like, oh, that's nothing. we made you invest in it, and it's nothing.
By him saying that to her, it's like that shit's not important.
But I mean, it could have been just as not important, but still satisfying if they were like, she was the daughter of students of fucking Luke. Yep. They weren't anything particular, but they were force sensitive. He was trying to train them, and they had a kid. He's blah blah blah, or fucking anything. Maybe just a girl that Luke saved, or anything, but something of significance, even if it's nothing that is connected, so that we can be like, okay, then the mystery at least went somewhere. So now we've got like a Snoke mystery that went nowhere, and the Rey.
Was there a Snoke mystery? Oh, because
because he was shadowy, big, giant head. Is he a giant dude, or is it just the hologram?
Well, it was just a dude.
But I'm saying, like,
with Rey's one,
you can't do it on both. You have to pick one. If one is going to be nothing, sure, but you can't do it on both.
Check it though. I mean, there's still a possibility of this. I don't know if that's what they're going.
What, the Kylo's bullshitting?
Yeah.
Right, and that's fine. But if that is the case, then between the three movies, it's just them going psych, psych, psych 3 times in a row, and I'm like,
who knows? But like, I know it's not great. That part is probably not. It's probably really annoying for people.
Right.
But at least it's like, hey, he's still, that's basically just Kylo. Like, he's basically trying to direct us like, forget about that. Forget about that. That's basically, could have just been him saying, forget about it.
Which is fine.
And mind you, her being like, her parentage being not important.
Right.
It's essentially like Anakin in that case.
No, because Anakin's was important because it was non-existent. Yes, because he was supposed to be born of just fucking fairy dust.
Well, technically,
that makes it important.
He's got 2 parents, though.
Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah.
What 2 parents?
He had a mom. He had a real mom.
Right, but he was made from nothing, so he was essentially like evil Jesus. Is that still
technically canon?
Yeah, because it's in the movies. Well, the prequels didn't become not canon.
What I'm saying is what I'm saying with Kylo is he could just be saying that still though. And mind you, I know they didn't show anything. This thing technically this film took place in what, like a couple days. Well, that last act took place in a day. Right. So we have no freaking idea what the hell this next film's going to be about in terms of where
for sure, because it ends with Leia as part of the crew. They got to figure out how that's not a thing.
That's why I'm a time skip of some kind, couple of years, which they.
But even before. Still, doesn't that seem like a shitty like thing to skip in a time skip? That Leia died.
Absolutely, but that's unavoidable.
I don't know if it's unavoidable.
How would you a CG Leia?
I don't know. They did it before.
They did. That's true. But then, if they're gonna do that at the start, she has to go quickly at the start. I'd rather not see like a fully CG
for sure
character doing something.
Now that we know that is the case, now that we know that is what had happened.
Oh, that's the thing. I have no idea.
No, we know that she is dead.
Oh yeah, we know that she's dead. Yeah,
right. Sure. So I'm saying now that we know that is the case. Shouldn't they maybe have just let her die in this movie instead of Luke? So that
it's like
so that you can move on and still have your like I have one of these trilogy people, yada yada. We can move forward. I'd definitely
be more to that side, but when I think she passed when the filming was already complete, right?
Yeah, her part of it was complete at least.
So it would be too much. I think it'd almost be too much of a shift to like. Okay, we have to do almost a lot of.
They filmed it, because they already filmed a scene where she essentially died. They only would have had to have edited out that part and then refilmed the last scene because she doesn't do anything else. She's in coma the whole fucking time.
She does. She wakes up. She's the one that basically fires the gun at Poe so that he goes to sleep so that they go off. Who would have told Poe about that scene then?
They could have
stuck.
Right, pink hair. Have pink hair lady do it instead.
But then she was left on the ship.
Right, but she didn't have to be. That's a writing thing, and her environment is all made up.
Ship, then?
Leia.
Then you'd
They
have
could,
to film that scene, but you didn't film that scene.
but they filmed her waking up in the white suit or
Yes.
whatever. Film a
Right.
scene from her from the back, being like, press the fucking button, and then you get to go. There's your triumphant victory for
I
her,
get it,
where
but
she
to me,
teaches
I just
Poe a
want to see it.
lesson. It
Yeah,
would have
that's all.
to me. It would have been better than her fucking like waking up in space and being like, oh, all the way back to the spaceship. That was random as fuck.
I mean,
like,
I guess she's got power. I guess I
so there,
understand she has.
come on. She instead
has
of
the
getting
Force.
sucked out of the thing, she could have
Yep.
got blasted inside the ship and then
Yeah, to be fair,
like pulls rubble off herself with the Force instead
there
of
is
the fly.
so much better ways of writing that scene.
Then come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
There's so much money involved. Why not find the better way?
Because this is what they wanted to do. I don't know.
The fight in the red salty stuff. First of all, let me say on the positive tip, everything looked beautiful in this movie, filmed immaculately, especially the planet with all the salt or whatever.
I think that's a cool thing, man.
Yeah, that was very, very sick
red
visual.
Salt. I mean, it's weird that the guy had to put his finger and lick the ground. It was like salt. Like,
right.
You didn't have to say
That's
that.
the only way that you test it. Do you ever just lick anything off the ground to find out what it is?
And go, this is dirt.
Yeah, it was kind of
They should
bizarre.
do that in a film just to parody that scene at this point.
And it was the thing I don't think you needed. Like, just knowing that was salt enhanced your opinion of how that scene played out. Yeah, it didn't matter.
It's
an alien world. It totally doesn't matter.
You don't have to explain. Like, if it's like, oh, that thing is floating. That little piece of land is floating. Why? Space.
Oh yeah, we're in space. Who gives a shit?
That's space. We're in a dirt. I guess the planet would have been red itself, and just the surface is like white, like sand.
So
yeah, well, it's crystal.
The confrontation with Kylo, when they finally get to the rebel base or whatever at the end, the big doorway, the big ass door, I think as it was described.
The only door in and out.
Yeah. When they finally have the showdown of like, now everybody has done their superfluous battle outside of the door. Kylo's like, I'm gonna go fight Luke down on the ground or whatever, which you know could have been cool. Well, before you get to that section, when Kylo was like, shoot him with all the guns, and it shot the dirt or whatever and shot red everywhere, fucking Luke exploded for a minute. I was like, holy shit. I think
that's the point, because it's the red planet.
But it was
way worse.
But it was comical. It was comical. I was like, holy shit, they just explode Luke.
Yeah, it's like he blew up.
Right.
Like one of them destroyed him, and then when everything just went, I was like, oh no, and nothing's left.
Right.
Nothing's left.
Yeah, that was
this
pretty
red
insane.
thing is an excuse for them to make it look like blood. It's just
exploding.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that exchange between them when they were posturing on each other and dancing around and shit was dissatisfying to me, just because I'm like, everybody's been talking about how dope Luke is for so long. I'm like, and especially if episodes 7, 8, and 9 are your first exposures to Star Wars, Luke is
Original.
nothing.
Oh, yeah, these ones.
Yeah, if this is your first exposure to Star Wars, then Luke is basically nothing. I mean, I guess that would make him have a sort of a parallel with Obi-Wan.
I was gonna say it's essentially like Obi-Wan then, because why wouldn't people have a problem with Obi-Wan fighting the way he did and whatnot in the original trilogy, when in the prequels he was actually legit too.
For sure, but I'm also like, give Luke a proper send off. I feel like they gave him like a hallmarky send off instead of like a real honestly, hero send off.
It would have been so like people would have probably gone even way more crazy annoyed
if he fought him and lost.
If he fought and lost,
yeah, that would have been better.
But this is for real. This is probably the most. This is the way to basically make no one be super angry at how he died.
Yeah.
Because they would not have accepted. He's like, there's no way Luke would have lost to Kylo Ren. Unless Luke was trying to save somebody and he got him, out of nowhere. This way, at least, is like, you didn't even like he outsmarted the crap out of you. He basically played you, and in the end, he just kind of.
But that I think that's why it made it garbage to me, because I was like, if the whole
you rather than pull the trigger, right?
Because if the whole plan was to have Luke die at the end of it, then why not just have him have that fight? Because it literally ends the same way either way. Because he's like, outsmarted you, see you later, kid. He's like, in your face, I fucking trolled you. But then it cuts back to him, and he's like, oh, such a good troll, vaporized.
Like being one with the Force is different from dying from a.
But I'm saying if the end result is him dying, then just do the good version of that instead of the like I tricked him and then floated.
Angered so many people because of that. They wouldn't want to see him die at the hand of him. To me, like to them, this is not dying at the hand of Kylo.
It makes it mean nothing though. What did we get out of it? What was the meaning of his death in that scene? What was the meaning of it?
I think he's fine with where he stood at that point. He knew he failed him in the end, so he's like, that was it.
I just feel like he had better uses of his energy in helping, if he would have just stuck around and helped Rey.
Oh, for sure.
Instead of sacrificing himself for a sick hologram show for an hour.
At this point, you know, like, if there's so many chances he's gonna rock up as a Force ghost in the next one.
I am especially now that Leia was supposed to be the main thing in the next one. Force Luke, I'm sure, will be back.
He is the Force ghost in the next one.
Speaking of which, the fucking Yoda? Dude.
You didn't like the Yoda?
No. I loved it. It took me out so bad, dude.
Yeah, I loved it. I was like, oh, the puppet. That's awesome.
I think if they just had the puppet, it might have been okay. But whatever the effect they tried to do of the Force ghost, like effect on it, it made it look like even more retarded. Where I was just like, what is that? What effect are we going for? Because all I can do is think of him doing the stupid seagull like bad lip sync music video thing now, because of that puppet is so terrible. I just feel like if you're gonna do a Force ghost thing, just do a CG. I got why it was nostalgic and people going, oh, you gotta have the puppet because the original. But no, that's nonsensical. Do the thing that looks good, not the you do this amazing looking movie with all this red salt effects and ships, and then you cut to this dumb fucking puppet of Yoda. It's insane.
I think the effect that they used, the blue, was bad.
Yeah.
Because also, I don't really remember the Force Ghost in the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
Does exterior light affect the ghost itself? Is it supposed to?
I'm not sure. I think
or is the light that they emit the source of light?
No, because that would be like Super Saiyan. I think they're just kind of top lit.
It's always above. Yeah. Because the weird thing that in this film anyway, that I'm just like, that's why the Force Ghost light was weird to me. I'm like, that burning tree is lighting you. But you're a ghost, and you're also lit by the blue.
And you're able to blow shit up as a ghost. If you're able to blow shit up as a ghost, then Luke should dominate the rest of the movies.
Well, technically, think about it.
He should just be shocking Kylo Ren with lightning as we speak. Why is there even more movies?
It wasn't even him possessing lightning. He basically made the cloud shoot lightning down.
Either way, if it's a thing you can do.
I'm thinking, like, if that's something that level Jedi can do.
Right.
Alright, you know, with Force Ghosts,
are there bad ones?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Like, does it work both ways?
I'm not sure.
Can you get Sidious be a Force Ghost?
I don't know. Maybe being able to Force Ghost is your version of heaven. You can only do it if you redeem yourself.
Fair enough. And if Sidious is like an evil devil, like a full-on bad guy,
they don't get to be.
He won't be able to. No,
they reincarnate as farts.
Like smelly ones.
Yeah, they're all the super smelly silent ones. That's a Sith.
It's like, oh, that was Sidious. That one was Maul.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I
liked it though.
I really liked it visually.
I had a lot of fun with it.
I really liked it visually, but I feel like they they sold me a thing in the first movie, and then gave me a completely different thing.
But I like it though.
But in spite of me, it felt like, no, fuck you. You take this.
It seems like a lot of people felt that way.
Well, then it can't be from nothing then.
Oh no, it's not from nothing. But I watched this.
I was
unrelated.
I was hype as fuck for this movie. Let me add, I was super excited, not expecting anything specifically, but just excited for what could be. And then we got a scene with a leprechaun, trying to turn BB-8 into a piggy bank. Why is there a leprechaun in this movie? Why did we get 2 scenes with the fucking leprechaun? Why couldn't it have just been one? I just don't understand.
So we can shoot the coins, bro. I liked it.
I'm glad for you, man.
Yeah, I am too, though. Like, I'm really glad I liked it.
So far, still not a Star Wars guy. Better luck, Episode 9.
Oh, I'm watching the next one. I'm curious where they're gonna take it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I'll watch it because I want to see if J.J. Abrams just goes, no, I liked all the things I set up, so let's do those things again.
Do you reckon he'll
Snoke
switch back?
Is back to life. Who knows? Who knows, man?
Because he said that he loved this movie.
For sure, but look at this movie was totally reactionary to how people talked about Episode 7.
Right.
They didn't.
A middle ground would probably be best, right?
They didn't plot out 3
films. A middle ground?
I think he's gonna try to.
Do you think that should have been honestly, I don't know why that wasn't the goal in the start. Mm-hmm. Plotting out a 3-act trilogy.
Yeah, come on. Like, you have the ability to do that now.
But this is with every movie. This is with all franchise films.
Right.
I don't understand how you can be like, oh, we know we're going to do 3 movies, or we know we're going to do a series of films.
Right.
Let's not consider anything but what's going to happen here and take those as it goes along. That seems so foolish, especially when studios know they're gambling with this kind of money.
For
this
sure.
Kind of time as well. Like, I know, the DC movies.
Yeah. Similar-ish.
But like, in general, I'm just like, why don't you plan stuff out? And if they say, no, we do plan it, I'm like, who are you fucking paying to plan this shit? Who is planning this?
There was definitely things, as much as I really just was excited to talk about the things that I didn't enjoy, because they were the things that I thought about the most after seeing the movie. Yeah. I did enjoy parts of the movie other than just the visuals. I really like Finn's character. I wish that he had more important stuff to do than...
Did you like Rose?
I thought she was fine. Seeing her riding on that weird fucking horse dog made me want to see a Mononoke movie. When she was running through the field or whatever on it, I was like, man, a Mononoke live action would be kind of sick.
I wonder if Disney would ever license a live action Ghibli.
I don't know. I think it'd be cool though. But yeah, I think that there was definitely stuff about it that I like. I think Rose was kind of cool. I think Finn was cool. I really like the look of Phasma, and I really thought they were going to.
They did a Boba Fett with her.
I guess so, but I felt like they were gonna redeem her after the first one, because everybody was like, "Man, they had her in here and she was wasted," and they were like, "Oh, we'll make sure she gets her due this time. She'll get one fight scene, get her mask blowed up, and then thrown off a cliff." And
she did beat him technically, and he just he snuck up.
But still, it's just another thing that set up in the first movie that went nowhere, basically. I don't know. I don't think I like Poe Dameron's character. Maybe I'll like him more in the next one. I think it's interesting them going. It's weird because they set him up as the hotshot pilot and also this like witty, almost jokey character. He joked with Kylo Ren and I can't understand you with the mask on thing, so they called back.
It's almost like he doesn't take things. It's almost like he doesn't take things too seriously, or
he doesn't think of the possible
consequences. He doesn't think of the possible consequences of what his actions do.
Right.
Like, he's very in the moment. That's why with the base, he'd always want to just head-on attack. Doesn't really like
blow the thing
he
up.
thinks he's doing the right thing.
I like to blow the things up.
Pretty much.
I liked Hux. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people shitting on.
Hux is bloody, dude. Hux is easily one of the better characters in this.
I saw a lot of people shitting
series.
on him, but I actually liked
because he was playing the character exactly how it should.
I liked the character.
He's the most in character, dude.
And I liked that they made him like more sickly looking, like even
he's got,
more like snivelly and weaselly.
So good. He's great.
I liked him. I thought he did a good job. I like Rey. I think she's got a lot of charisma. Daisy Ridley as an actress, I think she's got a lot of charisma. So you know, all the stuff with her. I even liked Kylo Ren's character. There was aspects.
Kylo Ren's great, dude.
Yeah, I like him, and I'm even totally fine with him being like, I want to be the main guy in charge, but I feel like he needed something more evil that he did in this one to propel that, because all he did really was he killed the big bad, and so that's kind of good.
It's a follow through of a sense. Well, think about it. Him killing his dad and Luke dying happened within essentially a week, less than a week.
Okay. That's
a crazy week.
It is, but I mean,
well, I know it's a different film, him killing his dad.
But other than being legends, those guys aren't doing shit. Luke had been on an island just chilling for a grip. Han's not really doing anything either.
He wasn't.
You know, Leia is the only one that really would have been of significance because she's a general now, and they very specifically did not kill her.
Which must you know what sucks though? That changes plans so much.
It's got to, and I just really am curious about the next one, especially because of how they very purposely didn't kill her through this.
And it's almost
she brought herself back from the dead, and then she dies in a fucking time jump. I'm gonna be annoyed as fuck by that. It's stupid writing.
But the thing is, it's like, what do we like? What can you do at that point?
I think the rewriting needed to happen on this one. They needed
but then reshooting would have been an issue still.
It would have been better than having that character of that significance die in a time jump, in my opinion.
I'm sure like
maybe they'll figure something else out.
The Star Wars head writer guys, whoever's in charge of like what's her bloody name, her and JJ, gonna have to. Maybe they already had a plan at that point.
Like, do you honestly feel like the general populace of people, Star Wars fans, wouldn't have understood that the movie had to be delayed after Carrie Fisher died? I think totally they would have been like, that is understandable. That is a huge deal.
Especially for the love that people,
especially people,
general folks and the fandom, love of her,
they
would have completely understood. I don't know, like when things like that occur and they go, no, we need to still hit this release date. And I'm like, dude, you just lost a major play. Like, you lost, not only did you lose a person, which fans love, but you lost a main character. Now, if you were planning something for that character for the next film, you can't do that anymore. And now I know you say, oh, we got CG. Don't.
Right. And they said they don't want to do that with her.
And that's great. We don't want to see that.
Right.
At all. So if that's the case, it would have got a few months, maybe 2 months. Oh, but they want to hit the Christmas. You don't have to. If this came out, say January or February. Oh, dude, if this came out February, everything February is the dead month of films normally. That would have destroyed every record.
For sure.
And I think a couple months is enough time.
I do too. I just feel like something could have been done rather than just it needs to come out at this time because we plan all our marketing around it's a Christmas movie.
That is a lot of money though, the marketing money, but it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Story-wise, though, I'm really curious what they're going to do with it now, because if their plan was she was supposed to be a major player in this episode 9, and because we don't have her, what was her role supposed to be, and will that role be now taken over by somebody else?
Right. Or
how can you pass it? Like, would you be able to pass that on to somebody? the story can again change, because it seems like from the start they didn't really have a set trilogy, like a 3-part plan.
Right. Well,
unless they did, and things just change in general.
Let's put it this way: I very much want in episode 9 for.
All right, what wants to happen in episode 9? Actually,
I want Rey to bite it.
Yes.
Kylo Ren's got to kill Rey.
Okay.
Because then her purpose was to restart the Jedi Order. That was her purpose. That's why it didn't matter who
but then
her
at that
parents
point,
were.
you want you want new Jedi to exist, right?
Right. She'll have created a new wave of people who can all go off and exist in their yada. That's her setting up hope for the future. Is that all these Jedi that she's created can like shoot off in different directions in the galaxy and go start off their new adventures, and Kylo Ren be left alone with his like, I won, but all of my family's dead and it was for nothing. I rule nothing.
Oh, I rule. But I'm not happy. I'm not any happier.
For sure. That needs to be the end of it. And then you're still like, well, it ended. Skywalker technically won. and
it just happens to be a dark side.
Right. Now it's dark side. That's the balance. Yeah. And then
he can
do his new Rian Johnson trilogy, and it can be about one of those kids that got shot off in a random direction.
That's interesting, because or the kid in the end of the movie with the mop.
Right, for sure. Even though I'm still confused by that shit too.
That there are Force users that don't have to be Jedis?
No, that's fine. I mean, they've just Leia existing establishes that is the case.
Yeah.
And what's his face? The fucking Donnie Yen's character said that he had some force inclination without doing anything cool with it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope the next.
See, but like cool. What you're saying in terms of like Kylo winning but killing Rey, but Rey technically won because she rebooted the Jedi.
Right, she restarted the Jedi Order.
That essentially still creates balance.
That was the destiny aspect. Is she had to meet Luke so that she could start the Jedi Order. She stole his books before.
Yep. She got the books.
Yoda blew up the tree or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's why he blew up the tree. But that still creates the balance.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope it's tight. I hope it's tight.
We'll see what happens.
I redact my score. I wouldn't give it a 4.5. That's maybe harsh. I give it, if we're talking out of 10, I give it a 7 then, because that's average.
7's good. 7 is average. I still give it 8 because I had a fun time with it.
I had a fun enough time with it, but I don't think it's one that I would own. I don't know if I would go see it again in the theater, and I don't.
Did you feel it was long? I know a lot of people.
The pacing didn't bother me too bad.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, they didn't really like. It's not like a Lord of the Rings long, where I'm like, this is long.
Yeah, I mean, the casino
stuff was happening every time.
The casino stuff to me was kind of pointless. It didn't make me go, "Oh, this is taking forever."
Yeah,
it was like, just kind of like this was unnecessary. Yeah. I would have much rather have seen them go off on an adventure that was specifically like Phasma related, where they could kind of have a back and forth with Phasma.
Honestly, to be honest, that would have been a missed opportunity.
Right. If they would have had some more interweaving, it would have been better. But did we need to?
You didn't.
What the fuck was the point of that character? Thank you for bringing it up. He
wasn't needed.
Come on.
Because you know what he was?
The Collector,
he was essentially, he was Lando.
Just because he was
essentially. Except Lando, Lando flipped back.
Right.
To be a good guy.
And DJ did.
This guy didn't.
Yeah, so
he basically showed that there is a middle ground. There is no, you don't have to be big, both either side. It's not good or bad, because sometimes these guys sell to both. Doesn't matter. It's do it for yourself.
Which is
basically
all,
giving another point.
Which is all fine, but did we need his character at all? Because essentially he opened a door for them. Yeah. They could have had the Rose Girl be that character, the character that opens the door. She could figure out how to open her door. All she needed was Finn to be able to tell her where it was, because he
which is what he did.
Exactly. They could have
Phasma chasing them would have been really cool. By the way, Phasma chasing them.
Exactly. If they would have had
extremely
a
cool.
through line with Phasma,
Yes.
so that when they got to that fight, it was a
It
bigger
meant
deal
something.
because
It
she's
meant
been
a lot
trying to
more.
get them the whole
Right.
time. Would have been cooler to me than like
And
seeing
honestly,
them
if
run
they had
around
done
on a
that,
space horse.
that's basically seeing more of her than what they gave us of Boba Fett, because she was essentially Boba Fett.
Right.
She was
In
a
that
Boba
she
Fett
was
character.
guard. I mean,
Yeah.
people keep
She was
saying
a cool
that.
looking character that did nothing.
Right.
That essentially died.
And we never see her face, so cool.
And I know people are like, "Oh, Boba Fett didn't die." I'm like, in the movies, he's dead.
Right.
We didn't see him jump out of the
same with Darth
pit.
Maul. I keep hearing people like, "Oh, Snoke got chopped in half, but Darth Maul got chopped in half and he survived." Dude, unless he showed up in the fucking movie,
until he rocks
he's
up in
dead.
an Obi-Wan movie,
right?
which
Exactly.
they're gonna make.
Exactly. If they do it and
He's
then
gone.
and we get Darth Maul,
Yep.
cool. I'm fine with
Then
that.
I'll be like, I'm
but
down.
until
But then
then,
they're
he's
like,
dead.
"Oh,
He's like
yeah.
Coulson.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
Coulson's not alive in the movies, then he's
Right.
he's dead. And
I know
me,
they say
that's all it
the
goes.
Star Wars shows they're part of canon. Cool. I'm glad they are for the people who watch them.
Same with
I
Agents
don't
of
watch-
Shield, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Agents of
I
Shield is
don't
part of
watch-
canon, but we
Yeah.
don't see
That's
Coulson in the movie.
That's exactly the same way of thinking there, because it's like people who watch those films probably don't even know of the Agents of Shield show.
Right.
So
But
if
so
they,
far,
if,
I think we've only had one crossover character that goes from the show to the movies that appeared in the show first, and that was fucking Forrest Whitaker, his Darth Vader Rogue One.
He was
shit.
actually one of the
This was his hair, by the way. This move.
His character was in the show.
That's what I'm
Clone
saying.
Wars.
His was the only one so far that started
Saul.
from the show and moved into the movies. But still, like,
So
he didn't look the same. He just had the same name.
It can happen. Now, until it does, though.
Right.
Yeah. So if they do this Obi-Wan film,
Yeah.
with Ewan McGregor, where he's a little bit older and he has his own adventure prior to New Hope,
Mm-hmm.
and we see Darth Maul there,
Right.
with his robot legs or whatever they decide to do.
Right. Because it doesn't have to be robot legs.
Exactly. I mean, it could be robot legs, but it doesn't have to be spider legs.
Right. Exactly.
It could just be like
robot
legs.
legs.
Yeah. Then I'm like, cool. That means he is back, and he's after his revenge. But I guess if he dies, he dies. Or if he died then he's dead.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, Snoke can come back. I'm like, maybe. I don't really care. Show me. Like, just give me the next one. Give me the next one. How long do you have to wait? 2 years?
That's probably because I think we get Han
because next
Solo.
year is a Han Solo one, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But to me, I'm just like, get on it quick, man, because you don't want people just to because with the first one you had nothing but like at least because they had set up those questions.
Yes.
For 2 years, you had people actively speculating.
Mm-hmm.
You closed those doors, but you didn't really set up a whole lot of new questions other
People
than
are definitely
what's next.
still speculating. Yeah, that's essentially like it's not as they didn't leave as much open doors for people to speculate.
Yeah, specific
other than
questions.
What is next? Yeah. It's a more broader what is next now.
Which I'm sure is what they want, because then then they're not beholden to are your theories better than what we come up with.
Right.
As much. So, I'm very curious where it'll go from here, but I don't know, man.
But that's it. Star Wars. It's out finally.
We did it. Go watch that movie. You tell us how you feel. I've heard several people be like, I need to see it a second time to see how I feel about it. You know
what?
Honestly, I feel like if that is the case, you probably didn't like it. If you have to see it a second time and then try and convince yourself to like it, you probably didn't like it.
Because a lot of the time, I've read a couple of those already, and they go, I liked it the first time, but I feel I missed out on a lot because a lot was happening.
Mm-hmm.
They actually enjoyed it more the second time because they knew where the beats were coming, so it didn't just come out as surprise out of nowhere.
Right, which I understand, like picking more things up and getting a bit more enjoyment out of it. But I'm saying, when I saw the Avengers for the first time, I didn't need a second time to confirm if I fucking liked it.
Right, most of the time, though, yeah,
I think you should be able to tell if you enjoyed it.
A lot of people that watch it the first time, that watched it another time, it's not that they didn't like it. They just didn't get everything. They did like it though. The people who didn't like it, there's no bloody way they're gonna watch it a second time if they hated it. If they're gonna watch it a second time and they hated it,
it depends on how much they like Star Wars. It depends on how much they like Star Wars.
It's just silly to me. If you don't like something, why would you pay to see it again?
Think of how many people have rewatched the prequels. There's lots of people who all they do is talk shit about the prequels and they still rewatch them because they're part of Star Wars.
That's so bizarre. There's no way I would watch something that I didn't enjoy.
How many times have you seen Turtles 3?
Not a lot. In the cinemas once, and
I'm sure on VHS I've probably seen that thing at least as many digits as I've had.
Not me. Yeah. I didn't like that movie.
I didn't either, but it was a Ninja Turtles thing.
See, I couldn't do it. I'd rewatch the first one over and over.
Me too. Yeah. I watch all of them over and over again.
Not the third one though. The third one can eat dick.
The third one's got the Tarzan song in it though.
It doesn't make it any good.
Yeah, it does, man.
Wow, you'll go enjoy something you hate again. Then.
It's got Casey Jones. They brought Casey Jones back, man.
Yeah, but they ruined him.
They brought Casey Jones back.
They ruined him. Just because it's the actor and now he's ancestor. Even as a kid, I was like, "This is dumb."
He played the ancestor. I was a kid and
like,
Casey Jones.
This is dumb. I know, but I was like, "This is dumb." I'm a kid saying that. I'm like, I'm not even buying this.
Right.
What a stupid coincidence. I hated that movie.
And it's always like that though, where they go back in time and they happen to meet the ancestor who looks exactly like their descendant.
That's the weird part to me.
Like I have the same mole right here because they're that descendant.
I mean, I don't mind them meeting an ancestor, especially if it would make sense that they grew up there.
Right.
But I don't like that it's the same actor
in Japan. He happens to be in Japan.
That's exactly why I'm like. So let me get this straight. An ancestor of Casey.
Right.
Now, if you were going back in time to say, old America, an ancestor of Casey that happened to be his ancestor, cool.
No, he was.
I get it. That makes a little more sense. What? Even as a kid, I was like, what?
Because the Ninja Turtles would be there, man, and they're connected throughout all time.
Yeah, absolutely. How come April? No ancestor. That would have got me. That would have made me
this conversation
way more annoyed. Yeah,
this conversation got to Turtles 3. I love it.
Yeah, because it's about rewatching a film that you don't like. Why would you do it? Why would you do it?
Fantastic. Anyway, now that we've talked for double the amount of time that we planned on.
I know. I apologize for the length of this episode, guys.
That's
normally
fine.
It's half hour, but we had stuff to talk about.
I apologize that we couldn't get into the good stuff first. I was just so excited to talk about these things that I was so confused about. Definitely
write down in the comments. Yeah.
Definitely let us know how you feel.
Did you hate it?
Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me how wrong I am and how amazing this
tell
movie
me that
is.
I don't even care. Tell us we're dumb. Tell us that you love Turtles 3.
Tell us that too. Sure.
Tell us that and why.
Yeah, why not?
Give us redeeming reasons why Turtles 3 is good.
But until the next one, guys, stay chipper, chaps.
Stay chipper.
Chipper chap outro song. Doodly deedly doo.
Like a Sunday yesterday. Or today for you.
Oh man, I want burgers.